Welcome back to the Badass Literature Society, where badasses come together to rate and review novels recommended by you. Hi, I'm Michael.
This is Barbara.
And I'm Lauren.
Welcome to another bonus episode. In this episode, we're going to be talking about books that we think would make great adaptations, either into movies, TV shows, or even video games. Barbara, you want to start?
So this is hard for me to pick between movies and TV shows because I feel like lately TV shows have been doing a better job than movies. Like we're in the golden era of TV shows and not movies, but maybe that'll change. I don't know. But one that I thought would make either a good TV show or movie, I can't really decide, and I really don't know what would make a good movie/TV show, clearly. I thought would be the Locked Tomb series by Tamsin Muir, and I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly. But the first one is Gideon the Ninth, and I think I would just love to see it on screen, whether that be a movie or a TV show. But I think it's good because it's got the like horror sci-fi aspect together, and I think that would make for a really good movie, and especially with all the puzzles and stuff like that, and the whodunit aspect of it, I think would be fun to see on screen somehow.
I agree. I think that would be pretty cool, either movie or TV show for that one. The first one I put for movies was the Fractured Fables series, or Duology, which is the one we just reviewed last month. Both novellas are short, and I think you could easily put both of them together into a single movie and make like 1 2-hour film with a time jump in the middle. It would also, you could make a mini series, I guess, out of it too, if you wanted to go that route. But
limited series is not what they call it?
Or a limited series. It's the same thing effectively, but
I don't know if I would combine both of them into one movie though.
Oh, I think you could.
I mean, look at The Hobbit. They stretched that bitch out for 3 movies.
Yeah, but they didn't need to do that.
Right, exactly. So I'm just saying.
So I think these could be smushed together.
I don't know, because I feel like you can flesh it out into like each one into like a movie, and it doesn't have to be like a 3-hour movie like Hobbit looking at you. Like it could be, like a good hour and 40-minute type thing, and then you can flesh out the story and stuff, and there you go. Like
or
a good duology movie.
1 3-hour movie.
Or not. I'm tired of 3-hour movies. Like stop it.
I feel like 3-hour movies were great in like my teenage years and early 20s, and now if I need to watch a 3-hour movie, I have to start it before like 4 p.m.
Right. Or like I just don't want to go to a movie theater and sit for 3 hours because like I need pee breaks. Like I like to hydrate quite often, and that's
true. You pretty much refuse to go to those movies in theaters.
Yes, because here at home I can pause it, get my
true.
snackies, get my drink on, and then resume without having to miss something. Like we went to the Barbie movie the other day, and I was like, I chugged like my water beforehand. I was chugging my Coke beforehand, and I'm just like holding it for like hour and a half, like, oh, my bladder's about to explode, but I don't want to miss anything. So no,
the Barbie movie was normal length.
It's relatively. 2 hours, wasn't it? I think
it was. Yeah, it was just shy of 2 hours.
2 hours.
Right. Yeah,
not like a crazy long.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I can't do 3 hours. I drink way too much water or anything really just to hydrate myself, and so
sounds
that's
like Barbara is admitting to a drinking problem, y'all.
Yes. I drink too much alcohol in movie theaters, and I need to
movie
vomit it out during the movie. So
busted.
You know it.
I was just going off of that. I drink way too much.
I mean, I guess that's true. Most people say when they drink, they're talking about alcohol, right? What do you say then for drinking water? Like, I hydrate too much?
I'm just giving you shit.
I'm getting picked on. No.
My first one, and I did not split these into like movies and TV shows because I feel like I would be satisfied with either adaptation for the ones that I chose, but was Next Year in Havana by Chanel Clayton. We did do this for the pod. I don't know the episode number, or I would tell you.
It was like number 3. It was quite early.
It was a while ago.
Quite early.
So scroll on back and take a listen if you would like. I just feel like this book has a lot of potential as a film. I would be really curious to see the cast, what they would come up with for it, because I just think that would be fun to Dreamcast this one. I don't remember if we did a Dreamcast for this one.
I don't think we did. That would be fun to do.
And I just feel like that the story would reach more people, unfortunately, because a lot of people don't read books.
Mm.
If it had an adaptation, and then it's just a poignant story that I feel like needs to be heard. It's good.
I have to agree with you. This would be fun, I think, as a movie. And then, because there's a second one in the book series that follows the other sister, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I could definitely see this as a movie. I think it would be fun to watch as a movie as well. Plus, I love when movies take place in, like, hopefully I know realistically speaking, they never really do shoot at what they say they're shooting at sometimes, you know, and I don't know if they're allowed to shoot in Cuba.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the relationship is since it's always so volatile, but it would
probably
be cool.
make it look super convincing though.
Right. They would probably just shoot here down in Miami.
Yeah.
little Cuba
Probably.
here.
But
that's probably what they would do. You're right.
Yeah.
But the costuming would be super cool for this
right.
one.
The epic. Oh, I love epic costumes.
Yeah. So I think it could be, if done well, I think it could be really good.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. So another one, once again, I don't know if it would be a movie or TV show, because I feel like there's enough content to make a TV show. But the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Mayer, I think that would be good in whatever adaptation. And on last time I checked, I know some stuff is happening behind the scenes because she did mention it on her podcast, but I know like it's been picked up and not adapted, kind of like in that middle ground hell of what's going to happen to it. So I do know, I think something's happening. She hasn't really mentioned it. Obviously she can't, but I'm curious to know if it will be a movie versus TV show. Either way, whoever does it, I just hope they do a good job of it because I really enjoy the series. It would be really fun to just see the world that she built. I think that would be the part that I'm most excited to see, is just like she really did a really good job of the world building, I think. So I would just love to see the world visually come to life. Obviously, in the characters too, I freaking love all the characters, so that would be fun to watch as well. But I think that would be a good adaptation regardless if it was a movie or TV show. I think you have content for both. And maybe like TV show would be like each book into like maybe like 10 episodes or something, or like the movie, make it 3-hour movie per book. That one I would sit through and hold my pee
Wow. Of course you would.
But yes, I think that would make a really, really good adaptation for either one, and I would be excited to watch it.
That was my next one too. I'm skipping Michael. We don't have to like go back and talk about it again. But I put specifically Cinder as a movie by Marissa Mayer, and like Barbara said, like I looked it up to see if anything was in the works because I felt like I heard a rumor about that a while back, but it doesn't appear that anything is like happening actively. Like it was like, I think the last article I saw was from like 2021 or something.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, she mentioned in her podcast a while ago, and I don't know what's become of it because she hasn't mentioned it for a hot second. So hopefully it's still being adapted. I
love grim fairy tales, and I think when executed well, they are amazing on the screen. I think like you can really get. I can't think of the movie that they did. I think it might be called Grimm. Or maybe it's a TV show.
Oh, it's a TV show, Grimm.
Where you get like I don't know, like some like the darker side of the fairy tales, and it can be done.
There
really
was
well.
a TV show called Grimm.
I don't know if that's the one I'm thinking of or not. I thought it was a movie.
That TV show is good. I liked it anyway.
Because I thought, oh, this is gonna be like a fairy tale, and then I like start watching it, and I'm like, oh shit, this is real kind of scary, kind of dark and scary. I was like,
this is adult.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't show it to my children. No worries there. But this was pre-kids, but I just remember going in and being like,
right. I
remember going into it being like, thinking one thing and then like being like, oh, okay. So I think it could be done really well. And I agree with Barbara. Like, I think there's plenty of content between like aren't there 4 different books?
Yeah. There's 4 books and then like a novella that kind of gives a background of the villain. So
yeah, I think that there's plenty of content to make it into a series, or you could just capitalize on multi-movies. And just have,
I just feel like lately book series or books in general are being made into TV series more than movies. Have you noticed that? Like it used to be like it was the movies obviously, like you have the Harry Potter, the Divergent series we don't talk about anymore because they just kind of up and stopped making that one, like Hunger Games and stuff like that. But like I feel like they've slowly turned it into like TV series now. And
well, and I wonder if it's not because of the shift away from movies as far as like financially, because I feel like so many people, like the streaming services have just kind of taken over,
boomed. Yep.
And I feel like the current generation is very much like that, the binge watch like series, and so I think that they're probably just capitalizing on like what the current audience is and what they want, because
like I said, it's the golden age of TV series now. So for sure.
But I would take either. I think Marissa Meyer, any of her stuff could be good. So I had to skip Michael so we didn't reject.
How dare you? No, it's okay. So the second one I put down for a movie that I think would be a really good movie is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. And I think that there's a lot of actually people talking about this on the internet, how they'd really like to see it adapted into a movie.
I would love to see it adapted into a movie.
I think this one, unlike some of the other ones we've talked about, like I think I would only want this as a movie. I think it'd be a better movie than it would a TV show.
Agreed. This is one that
I'd really like to see it.
Like you said,
I think
adapted TV. Yeah.
Yep. I think that'd be pretty cool to see. And there's a lot of talk, so maybe somebody picks it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe.
The buzz around the
there's buzz around, like there's regular people buzz. So I don't know if there's like studio buzz, people wanting it. But
sure.
You never know.
I'm curious to know how they would do the magic in
how
it. What?
How they do what?
The magic.
Oh, yeah,
that's true.
Like, because like they have the flowers. Like, how would that be? Would it be?
It would look so freaking
practical.
Cool.
Would it be green screened or whatever?
Might be a combination of practical and CGI. Would be my guess.
That's the word we're looking for. CGI'd.
I think it could be so cool.
Yes, I agree. Plus, Michael wants to see the the flaccid penis.
The flaccid penis.
I don't know if I need to cut that out or not, but
that's it for me, guys. I'll see you on our next episode.
How would the flaccid penis translate to the screens, you ask? Let us show you. That's funny.
I couldn't help myself.
I forgot all about the flaccid penis.
Michael did it.
No, he didn't. It's in his dream.
I knew exactly what she was going to say when she started. And I was like, son of a bitch, here we go.
I didn't know where she was going with it.
I mean, I paused and hesitated to see if he would get my joke.
Funny.
Well, it's your turn now anyway, Barbara, so go ahead.
I've got the giggles. The other one I think would be good would be the Ray Bearer series by Jordan Ifuko. It's got magic. It's got such a deep lore. And I would love to see this world just visually. I think visually it would be a very beautiful thing to see. I think it would be good in a movie, but maybe, I don't know. That's the problem. Like, I'm just visualizing everything into TV series because I just want everything adapted. Like, I'm one of those people who just wants to see every little scene or thing played out on screen. So it's hard to be like, yes, let's break it down into a movie, because there's just so much content in books that I know it doesn't translate to like visually and stuff like that. But I would just love to see this visually in either movie or TV show, and whoever adapted it better treat it right, because I feel like sometimes they don't. But I think I would love to see the characters, the magic that's described in the book is just so cool and so different than things that I have read in the past. And just the world that she has built, I think would be really cool to see come to life on a screen of some shape or form. I think it would be fun to see.
So the next one I put down is actually the only one of the three that I could do, I feel like, either movie or TV show, and that is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I think it would make a good movie, but I think it would have to be like a 3-hour movie that Barbara's been complaining about for like the last however long we've been recording this podcast. So I think that it could be a good TV show, especially since we know it's going to be a series. It's not like this is a standalone book. There is more coming. So I think that, when we're talking about a book that's 700 plus pages long, that's not that hard to turn the 700 pages into a single season or even 2 seasons. I mean, Denis Villeneuve split Dune, which is not that long, into 2 3-hour films. So, I mean, it can clearly be done. So I think this could go either way. Maybe I'll change my mind when Empire of the Damned comes out next year. But as it sits, I think that this would be either a great first movie in a series.
What is that?
That's the sequel. It's going to be a trilogy. The second book is called Empire of the Damned. But I think this could go either way, movie or TV show, and I'd be happy. It would just be cool to see it adapted. It's a really cool story.
If you're a guy, sure.
If you're a guy or any of the many women who've reviewed it on Goodreads that really enjoyed it.
Can't relate. I have not read it.
You shouldn't.
Neither has Barbara.
It's okay. It's one of those stereotypical like fridging books that does to women characters. You know? Do you know the fridging, like what that means?
No.
Fridging is a term that has been used to describe male characters' progression in stories where the books or TV shows or whatever the medium is, where they kill off a female character just to progress the man's story. Like it's called fridging, like you would put in, like, you know, you murder them, put it in the fridge type thing, like a murder. Okay. So, and this book is notorious for doing that, and apparently doesn't have well-written female characters, but that's fine.
I will just throw this out there. In defense of the author in the book, 40,000 people have rated this on Goodreads. 85% of those ratings are 4 or 5 stars.
Apparently some people like it.
Take it with a grain of salt.
So Michael, I mean, are you saying things can't be problematic if people like it? I mean, look at Harry Potter. She's a super problematic human being now, and everyone loves that series. Like, are you saying...
But that's more the author and less the content, though.
Well, I mean, the content is a little problematic. I mean, her only Chinese, quote-unquote Chinese or Asian character is called Cho Chang. Like, how stereotypical can you be? Like, that's pretty racist. No offense.
That's true.
Like, there's some issues with her content as well. Like, I am old enough to read through the books and see that there were some things that were problematic. Like,
that is true.
You know, I love me Hermione, but like any character that wasn't your stereotypical Hermione character, like Hermione was kind of a bitch to all the other female characters. Like, you can't like pink and all of a sudden you're a villain now. Like, Lavender Brown is also kind of seen like as a villain. She's your stereotypical, like, hey, like she likes girly things and she's not like Hermione, but she's seen as the bad person. Like, there's things to be had.
I mean, Dolores Umbridge did like pink a lot, and she is like the worst.
She did. She was like an awful human. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying.
I know, and I can admit
Sarah J. Maas is a hugely successful person. She's extremely problematic in the way that she writes certain things and how she treats certain characters, especially if you're not someone of white origins. Like, people are saying that she treats her POC characters extremely badly. So, okay, like, throw those little stats at me doesn't mean it can't be problematic, regardless of what you say.
I can acknowledge the problematic aspects of the story.
Okay.
What frustrates me is that this book got some heat from TikTok and then it got review bombed on Goodreads and as well as every one of his other books. People went back, and if you look at Nevernight, which is one of his first vampire books, people came back and started dropping 1-star reviews on that, like in force, because they're mad about this one. That's not okay.
Don't agree with. No, that I don't agree with. Like, I haven't read the book series. I don't plan on reading it, but I'm not going over there on Goodreads.
You shouldn't review it if you haven't
read it. Like, I don't think if you haven't seen it, you haven't watched it, you haven't read it, you haven't somehow absorbed the content, you have no right to review bomb or drop a review just because. That I don't agree with, 100%.
So I think what we can agree on is that this book maybe has an interesting storyline, and maybe for some people, a lot of people on Goodreads enjoy consuming the media that is consistent with the storyline. However, perhaps there are some problematic elements that with the author or the author's choosing of certain plot points that, you know, should be noted, but doesn't necessarily make it a bad book.
That was a nice sum up, Lauren.
I think you should still be aware of criticism of the things that you're reading and just be aware of it. Like, you shouldn't just be like, well, I like them, so I'm going to turn a blind eye. I don't think we're in that stage of life that you should be doing that personally. But
yeah, I think I'm like, when it comes to books, I'm very much like of the opinion. So like if I hear something that's not so good, like if I see something on Book Talk that's like, oh, this book is like awful because X, Y, or Z, my initial instinct is honestly, I'm going to read that book so that I can figure it out for
Form
myself
an
and
opinion.
form my own opinion versus like, that's a shit book. Like, I'm not going to read it because these people are saying like it's X, Y, or Z bad. I'm going to read it for myself and then say, okay, like, yeah, it was bad or it was problematic or whatever. Now I don't have the time or energy to invest to read all of the books, especially the ones that Michael chooses that are a million pages long.
I mean, so in the defense of like, okay, so like Patrick Rothfuss, the Name of the Wind, like the first book was, everyone really enjoyed it, but it was kind of panned by women saying like, hey, like your women characters leave much to be desired. You know what he did on his second one? He listened to the readers and actually actively worked on that, and even talked about how like he didn't realize he was doing that and how he wanted to do better. And you can see like the people, like the women specifically who read the first book saying like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. I'm just saying that's what I appreciate.
Yeah.
When authors are like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. Let me make this better. That's what I appreciate. But people are just like, oh, no, it's fine. It's like, no, I mean, we do have to hold people accountable for certain things because it is like you have a platform and you should. I mean, I'm not saying like you have to listen to every little thing. Obviously, no one's going to do that. And there's a lot of problematic people who are coming out and reading these books and saying awful things when there is no reason for you to do that. So, you know.
I just think like as an author too, it would be hard to filter out like what should I take feedback on versus like how much is just like noise and like like I do not have the self-esteem to be an author and I would I would be shattered in the comments, and so I think as an author it would be hard to like discern what is like feedback that I should internalize and what is like things that I should just like
what is good feedback versus just awful humans.
Just trolls.
Just trolls.
Trolling the
trolls. Trolling.
There was my Harry Potter reference. My third one is, I guess it's kind of a collection of books, but so the Liane Moriarty books. They've already made adaptations for Big Little Lies on HBO and Nine Perfect Strangers, and both adaptations were amazing in my personal opinion. And those were made into series, so like TV shows. I don't know if they were classified as like limited series or not. Or
Big Little Lies was supposed to be a limited series, and then it did so well that they just decided to make a second one that wasn't, because there's no second book.
There's no second book for Big Little Lies.
Right. So I think they just created content, which
is whatever.
Right.
I didn't ever watch the second series or the second season of it. I just watched the one that was about, I don't even think I got to finish it because at the time I didn't have HBO
it is
on
so
my TV.
Good.
So I watched like the first 3 episodes and those were amazing. And the casting was really good. I didn't get to finish it though. I have HBO again though, so I should go back and finish it. I did watch the entire season of Nine Perfect Strangers and it was really, really, really well done. The casting was amazing. It was really good. And I think the Liane Moriarty's writing style lends itself really well to film and TV adaptations. And it's because she does the POVs, like the different POVs. And so you really have that entirely separate voices for each character in most of her books. And I don't know, something about the content she chooses, the plots, and then just the writing style is, I feel like there are other books that she's written that I would like to see.
I mean, clearly she's doing something right. If the first 2 that were adapted have been critically, commercially successful, I believe. So
yeah, I kind of wonder if they will adapt any of her others. And
is there one in particular that you would prefer?
So I really liked, let me look to see.
So I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. So I'm still finishing Apples Never Fall. That's like her most recent one. So I want to see Truly Madly Guilty. Because I was like, it's not Big Little Lies, it's Truly Madly Guilty. So the Truly Madly Guilty is the first. Actually, I can't remember if I read that one first or Big Little Lies first. That was like my first. One of those was my first Liane Moriarty book, and then I went back and bought all her books.
Okay.
And I read all of them. And so Truly Madly Guilty is one that I would like to see. And then The Husband's Secret would be really good too. The one that she wrote in like 2003 and 2006 weren't my favorites. They weren't bad, but those other 2 I think would be really good. And then I guess I can save that one because we have a whole other category for TV shows that I just mashed together. Okay, that's all.
Let's move on to TV shows then. Barbara, what was your first one you put down would be a good TV show adaptation?
Once again, I don't know. It's just because of how thick these bitches are. Like, these are thick books, so I figured maybe better for TV series than thick with 3 C's. Is that 3 C's? She's thick. I think A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, or maybe even Prior of the Orange Tree, but I prefer A Day of Fallen Night. So if I had to pick between one or the other, then I would do A Day of Fallen Night. I think it was a superior book, and things that I really disliked about the first book she worked on the second book. And technically it's a what is the word I'm looking for? A self-contained, like, it's not like a prequel. Like, it is a prequel,
Right.
but like, you don't need to read one versus the other to understand it, type thing. It's just
Right. It's a
the
self-contained
same
story.
Self-contained story, yes. So that's what I want to see as a TV series. I kind of imagine like standalone.
There you go.
That's it. That's the word we're looking for. But I kind of imagined a little like TV series, maybe. I would love to compare it to Game of Thrones just because of the sheer scope of the world, but the problem with that is Game of Thrones really fizzled out at the end, like blah, blah, blah. So I don't want to say that, but I just think the world building would be cool to see, just the different parts that she's made. The dragons, I want to see the dragons. I love dragons. We're just gonna keep saying dragons because I just want to see them. And especially these dragons, because like you have the good and the bad dragons, and I would love to visually see what they look like, the difference between them. The costumes would be fun to see. Just, I don't know, just the whole vibe of this book. I would just love to see it. And I don't think a movie would do it service just because it is so much to cram into. I mean, I guess they could do The Hobbit, and make it into three 3-hour movies. I guess they could do that, but I would rather just see the TV series and just give me good 10 hour episodes. I would be content with this.
So the first one I put down for TV series is Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass series. It's got to be a TV series because it's not Harry Potter. They're not going to make 7 films to cover all 7, technically 8 books in the series if you count the collected novellas. But I think it'd be a good TV show. Currently, no plans for that to happen. The only one of hers they're adapting is the Court of Thorns and Roses, which I haven't read. I've got to hope, I guess, that one does well enough that then they decide to adapt this one as well.
Is that a TV series they're making it to?
The Court of Thorns and Roses, yeah. Hulu's making.
Hulu? Well, it's better than Netflix.
Yep, Hulu's making that. But, I'm not saying I wouldn't watch that. I just haven't read those books yet. I'm still reading the Throne of Glass series, and I think that'd be a pretty cool TV show, personally. A badass female assassin going around doing badass assassin things.
So mine is another movie/TV show because I didn't separate my categories. And I don't know. I put Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and supposedly it's being adapted.
It's being adapted, right?
Okay, but like when and where?
That's true. Those are very good questions. I don't know.
Because I Googled it because I was like, Blake Crouch would be a great like movie adaptation or whatever. So I was Googling it. And it said,
casted. Like, I feel like I've seen the people who will be playing the character somewhere.
Okay, well,
it's a TV show. It's being made it was made on Apple TV Plus. The folk, it's coming out this year. Like, the cast has been announced. It's a whole thing. It's happening.
There you go.
Well, okay, there we go. Never mind then. Because I had heard that it was being adapted. But then I was like, when, where, why?
Right.
So It was originally supposed to finish wrap. It was supposed to wrap earlier this year. The writer's strike and the actor's strike have affected it, so it's going to get delayed a little bit. But it was originally supposed to come out at the end of this year. But yeah, they've cast it. Like Joel Edgerton's playing the main character. Jennifer Connelly is his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Alice Braga is another character in the show as well. Barbara.
Well, good to know.
But she's not playing his wife?
She's not playing his wife. She's playing Amanda.
The other lady, right? The one that saved him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. So they made both of the women characters Latinas. Well, Jennifer Connelly isn't a Latina, but his wife is supposed to be a Latina, so make that make sense. Okay, so I guess thank you for adding the Latina, but like the wife was supposed to be Latina because there's a whole thing about like her cooking yummy Latina food, but okay, fine.
Well, I guess that one is already happening. So.
Well, but I mean, it makes sense. Like, you're not wrong. Out of all the ones that we've listed, yours is the only one who made it.
Yes.
Yep.
Winner.
I win the podcast.
I mean, I agree with you. Like, I'm excited to see that, and like whenever it does come out, I think it would be fun to do a review for it.
A review
for it and see like
I'm excited now. I thought it was just like a rumor. I was like, I feel like I heard that it was being adapted by China
Yeah, I feel like
Mieva.
when we read the book we were talking about it, it was still kind of like whispers in the wind or
I
something.
couldn't remember if it was this one or the other Blake Crouch book that we
Oh,
read.
The other one is Whispers in the Wind. This one was a done deal when we talked about it.
Oh, okay.
Apple
maybe
bought the rights for this back in 2020.
So maybe I got them reversed. Either way, I think it'll be amazing.
Agreed.
I'd also like to review the Defending Jacob TV series if Lauren would ever get around to watching it.
Which platform is it on? I didn't know that was
Apple
my homework.
TV Plus.
No,
I don't have Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, it's Apple.
I don't have Apple TV. That's the problem.
Well, spend $5 for 1 month.
Oh,
because we both know you're going to want to sign up for Apple TV Plus to watch your Blake Crouch show when that comes out. So,
well, my other one that I think would be a good TV series that I'm just dying to see would be the Legendborn series by Tracy Deonn. I would just love. I feel like it's just all these like world building and then like the characters I would just like to see visually. Like it would be fun. Plus, it's like a King Arthur adaptation, even though King Arthur really isn't real. It's folklore, but you know, it's whatever. I enjoyed it. And I think it would be cool to see how this plays out. And I think it's going to be a 3. Like the first 2 books are already out, so the third one is going to be coming out. And I'm just dying to read that one, get my little hands on it. But I would like to see it. I think it would be better as a TV series just because there is a lot of content in it. I don't think... I mean, I guess you could maybe break it down in movies. I don't know. I'm just always a little disappointed when they just don't put scenes that I want to see in movies or things they have to cut out just because it has to be shorter. Yeah, I mean, look, like Harry Potter, freaking love that they made it into the movies. That is my childhood. I don't know, on the fence about the TV series just because, like, yes, on one part I'm going to get all the extra content that they had in the books that they removed, but on the other hand, it's like, you know, do we have to do that? I'm super excited to, hopefully this one will get the buzz and maybe get picked up. I think it would be amazing and it would be really cool to see. And I would like to see how they do the magic, because I kind of have like visually in my head what it would look like. So I'm curious to know like what other people see and how they actually make it come to life.
Yeah, that one would be cool. I agree. That was a good book. My next TV show is the Murderbot Diaries series by Martha Wells. I think it'd be a really interesting TV show. I think it actually may be being adapted. I'd have to look that up and double check. There's, I think, 7 books out now, and she's announced 2 more. They're short though. They're more, I would say, closer to like novella-sized books. But I think it'd be a really interesting TV series. It's pretty dark. It's about a cyborg who is self-hacking and pretty violent, and that leads him to call himself Murderbot, hence the title of the series, The Murderbot Diaries. But the first book's only it's less than 150 pages, so they're pretty short. But I think it'd make a good TV series.
I would not be able to speak to that one either. Murderbot. I feel like None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, which is the book we've read for the upcoming September podcast, would be good as either a movie or a TV series. And I think for a TV series, it would be good just because of all of the different plot twists and different things. And then the way that it's broken up and formatted in like podcast type style, I think that it allows for natural breaks in, like, I could see where the episodes would, like, I don't know, where you could split it up into different episodes. I think it would be good for like Netflix or Hulu or one of those.
Can't say too much because spoilers.
Correct.
I think I'm the only one that has another TV show, right? That's it for you guys? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, so the last one I had is the Bloodsworn Saga. We read the first book for this podcast. I think it'd be cool TV show or movie, depending on how they did it. You could easily do either way. But I think it would make a really cool TV show, especially in the age that we're at, where I think people are still capitalizing on some of that Game of Thrones popularity. And while this is a totally different story, it's at least somewhat along the same overall genre. I think it'd be a pretty cool show.
It's funny that you put that down there. Once you mentioned it, I could see it as, because your next category you put down was video games, and I have no idea what would make a good video game, but I feel like it would be fun to play Like I could see myself playing a little Viking murderous queen. Like I think that would be very fun. I would love to do that. Actually,
I mean, you did that in Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, just take that, but into a better story. No offense, that one wasn't that great. And this one, I would be like, yes, bitch. Like, let me murder all these people. Like, I could have fun with this one as a video game. I would love to see it as a video game.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That could potentially be a cool video game.
I mean, I like the Vikings era, cool mythology.
It is. It's a cool era of history, or mythos. Yes.
I mean, isn't there's another the video game that it started out as was it Greek and then turned into the Viking gods?
Are we talking about God of War?
Yes, like that. Like that's what I'm seeing this as. Can't you see that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I could see a game like that, or that style of game. Yeah.
For this book, like.
Yep. No, I could totally see that. Well, speaking of games, Barbara, what was the first one you put down for your video game adaptation?
So I have no idea what would make a good video game. I don't know. Just I don't. What would make I don't know. I guess it depends on what video games you like playing. But I just thought I just kind of just threw something out there because I was like, what has powers? That would be fun. I would like to have someone play a little game with powers. So I said the Diviners, but now that I'm like thinking by it, I don't know how that would be. Because like they have powers, but it's not really powers. Like Evie's powers, like touching an item and getting like premonitions about it, or not premonitions, but like the history behind the item. So it's like, how do you adapt that? Maybe I'm overthinking. I don't know. I think the Diviners, maybe it would have been better as a TV series video game. I don't know. But
I think it'd be cool either way, actually.
Yeah, maybe it would be like the visual novels. I like those because it's literally a book, but it's a video game. So
it's an interactive book.
As a video, yes, it's a visual novel. That's what we're talking about here. I think that would be fun to see this one. There we go, nailed it.
Got it. The first game that I put down, or the first book rather, I put down that would be adapted well into a game, I think, is Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series. I think that you could either make a game where you play through the story, and then obviously you guys make multiple games, or at some point transition from one main character to the other. But I think you could also pretty easily make that game where the player creates their own character, and you insert that character into the story where they're living through it as well.
I think video games based off of movies or TV shows just don't do very well. Looking at you, old Harry Potter book movies or video games, those are effing awful.
Shots fired.
Well, there's true. The only good one was Lego Harry Potter, but I can see the world would be fun to play in. Like I just want to zip around, you know. No,
fair. No, yeah, it'd be cool. I agree. Any of those three choices, I think it would be a neat place to make a game.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I only had one game because I'm not a gamer necessarily. I played video games like Mario and stuff growing up, and whatever like the little fighting game was that Michael and I played. Can't remember what it was called.
There's a lot of little fighting games.
Some kind of fantasy game. But I picked Elantris by Brandon Sanderson purely just for the world building. I think he does a really good job of building these super high fantasy crazy town worlds that it would be cool to be able to just explore that world as like a POV. Like you get to go in and you're walking around and seeing all of the things. I don't know what the premise of the game would be other than I just want to explore. But maybe, I don't know, I'm sure you could like adapt it to where you have some kind of a mission, or you could play as like one of the book characters. That would be kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But then, spoiler alert, you'd already know. Maybe you could do some kind of weird choose your own adventure type thing. I don't know. Yeah. I just think it'd be cool to see the world, but then also I feel like the things that I come up with, like that I think of when I read in my head, often look like maybe I would be disappointed by somebody's adaptation of it. I don't know. Could be cool.
Yeah, I feel like I struggle best with the video game aspect because I don't know what makes a good video game, but
I think some of Sanderson's stuff is finally getting adapted, though, Lauren. Not to video games, but to the screen.
Oh, sweet! It'll either be really good or awful.
Isn't that normally how it goes?
That's usually how it goes.
Just because I think like with that, it's so interpretive, right? Because you're reading it and it's like this whole world that's been built. It's similar to, I mean, it's not Harry Potter, right? But like when you're reading about Hogwarts, you've got like these pictures in your head, and then they did a really good job of adapting it, I feel like, but it could have been awful. And I'm trying to think of an example where like a world building situation in a book didn't turn out well on film, for me, but I can't think of anything right currently. I just think with Brandon Sanderson, it was
Divergent.
the Divergent books. See, I liked the first one and I liked the second one, and then it totally like went to crap from there.
The movies just kind of like ruined it. I mean, let's be honest, it's the same thing with the books though. The books were really good, and then like what was it, the second to last or the last one was just like, what the hell did I just read?
I think it was like the last half of the second to last one, and then the whole last one just sucked.
Just awful.
And the movies, I felt like they were okay, but it wasn't like I had pictured. So I think that's a good example, of like how it could flop. But I think with the Brandon Sanderson stuff, it's just like such high fantasy, and there's so many intricacies to the world that I think it's just gonna have to be done very well. It would take, Michael knows more about all that animation and like film production crap than I do, but
I didn't think about that. I mean, animation for some of these would be fun to see as well.
Yeah, true.
You know,
I looked it up, and it's Mistborn. The first Mistborn book that you and I read, Barbara, is the first movie or first of the works that's being adapted. They're making a movie. He's writing the screenplay for it as we speak.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And also, I didn't know this, but apparently in 2021, there's a Mistborn crossover with Fortnite. Kelsier, the main guy character, was a skin in Fortnite you could get, apparently.
Well, I mean, a skin is different than actual like character playing, isn't it?
Oh no, 100%. I just thought that was interesting. I wouldn't have thought about his stuff being used in Fortnite. Was all.
That's true. Apparently, they made a Hunger Game. I'm like totally digressing here. Apparently, they made like a Hunger Games Fortnite. I think that would be fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, that is what Hunger Games is pretty much battle royale. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't honestly even know the premise to Fortnite, other than there's a lot of killing.
It's a battle royale. It's literally just murder and be the last one standing. Literally, battle royale to a T is what Fortnite was or is. I guess
because when I was working in the schools, I had like young kids that were playing it, and I just like the things that they were describing. I was like, man, that sounds super violent for like a second grader, but whatever.
Well, it's because it's like cartoon. It's very cartoonish looking, so I can see. It like there's no blood or anything like that, but I mean, it's still guns and you're shooting people, so take that as you will. Last one, I guess, for a video game, and I don't know, Realm Breaker series. I personally would just like to see this adapted into a movie or TV show, but if I had to pick, I guess I think it would be fun to see as a video game. I just keep thinking, like, what would you want to do? Like, kill things and mash buttons and your people swing swords. That's what I came up with for Realm Breaker. So, I don't know what would be good as a video game, but that's what I thought. There we go. Right. It would be cool to be a little assassin, what's her face, and just murder people.
Get your rogue character on, Barbara.
Yep. I like me some rogue characters. I mean, literally my little caricature in our our podcast
logo.
That's the word we're looking for. I'm an assassin looking person, so
yeah.
Clearly, I think it would be fun to just assassinate people.
Barbara has a deep desire to murder people, but no desire to go to prison.
Exactly. That's why I don't murder people in my real world.
That's all that's keeping her. That's all
the only reason. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
That's the only thing. I mean,
terrifying.
Really, Michael, we're all shocked that you're still here with us.
He's not worth going to jail for. No offense.
I guess that's a good thing.
I'm not sure how to take that.
I'm not sure how to take that either.
Exactly. It's in one way you're like, oh, thanks, but it's still offensive. So you really don't know what to say to it. So it's one of those perfect comebacks, because either way you're offended.
It's true. The last book I put down that would make a good video game adaptation is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. I think that would be a neat. I imagine it more like a role-playing game taking place inside the Dark Tower universe. I think that'd be really cool. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of different ways you could take it. I think that would be potentially a really cool video game. And I think that that's all of the books that we've got for adaptations today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening and hearing about our ideas. If you have some other ideas, we'd love to hear about them. Send us a message on Instagram or leave us a comment. Like always, make sure you're following Badass Literature for free in your favorite podcast app. Give us a rating and leave us a review if they let you. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. Our username is at BadassLitPod on both Instagram and Facebook.
Have feedback about today's episode? You can contact us by writing to badassliteraturesociety@gmail.com. You can also send us a DM or leave a comment on Instagram or Facebook.
And with that, thank you so much for listening. I'm Michael.
I'm Barbara.
And I'm Lauren.
Bye.
Bye.
So it was like a crack cocaine episode. We're all over the place.